Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen.
Hanumutu is where my whānau comes from. I was raised here in Christchurch, over in Parklands. Brought up my teenage years over in Aranui. I was brought up in a Christian background. My mum and dad are Christians, born again Christians, and pretty much all my life I've been brought up Christian. I know a few people who are Muslims, and a brother that I knew from work is a Muslim, and he used to pray all the time, and he talked every now and then talked about Islam, and a few times he invited me to his home, and because he was Muslim, I didn't want to go to his home because I thought I'd become a bomber. But I had a different concept of what Muslims were, and the fact is, one day he was praying at work, and I was watching him, and I was actually chucking paper at him, see if it would disturb him, but he wasn't. He actually didn't care, didn't even take notice. And all my friends were walking by, and they were yelling at him, and just seeing if he would turn his back, but he never turned. And I thought, man, this dude's committed. I worked with him for 3 years, and I believe he tried to give me dawah, but I never listened to him. He was actually a different culture, and for me to know about anything, I like to learn it from first. I'm Maori because I'm Maori, and that was the first thing that would probably pull me in. 3 years working where I worked with this brother, he told me a little bit about Islam. Told me, I always asked him, what is Jesus? Do you believe in Jesus? Is Jesus God? And he told me about Jesus as a prophet, which totally made sense to me because I knew he was a prophet, but also the way I was brought up, I knew he was a son, and then this Trinity concept, and I was confused a lot of times, and I never understood it, but my mum and dad were Christians. My dad is a staunch as Christian, and I just took, because my mum and dad knew best, so I just followed whatever they knew. It wasn't until a few months ago, I was at home, and my bros come around, and two of my mates come around, and they told me about another good mate of ours who we used to hang with, and we heard that he must be caught up with hard out drugs because he got married at the masjid, and he became Muslim. And the funny thing what I heard is how they did it, how they got married, and how he wears a white long shirt, and he's real kind in that, and I cracked up because the way how I know my brother. He's a hard man. He comes from a gang background. He was into drugs. You know, I've been brought up around drugs. I sold drugs, grew drugs, made drugs. Had a lot of street gangs. I knew a lot of neighbourhood gangs and groups and crews, and we had no doubt that if it came to any fights, and I could call 100 of my bros and they'll be there ready for a fight. We're just real staunch, and we're pretty much trying to live a dream of being a Hollywood rap star and going to America and making millions of dollars. What actually happened, we went over to our bro's home, me and two of my mates from my crew, and we went to go and see if our bro was alright, and he wasn't home. And then we come back to my house, and then the next day we went over to our bro's home again, and he was there. And we thought, and he was giving dawah to another brother. And I said to him, bro, what up? And he come out, stood up, and he had a bit of beard growing, and he looked real happy, real clean, and he had a long white shirt on. And I thought, fuck, bro, how do you get hooked up clean as like that? And he told me about Islam, told me about the Prophet, peace be upon him, and told me about Allah, subhanahu wa ta'ala. I went home and do what I do every night, got drunk, drinking bourbons, and rolling up spots and getting stoned. And my bro knocked on the door, he come in, and I remember when he walked through the door, he stood in and he goes, Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. And I thought, hey, what's going on? And then I sat down, I was like, kia ora, bo. And he come in, he goes, Assalamu alaikum, kia ora, bo. And And then I said, so bro, what up? And he said, bro, he told me I just come to see you, see how you are. And I thought, oh yeah, sweet. On a spot, get all the time spots and smoking drugs. And he was like, nah, but I thought, hey, because I know my bro, we smoke all the time, and I thought, what's going on? Sweet as. And he told me about the Prophet, peace be upon him, and about this man. I was like, man, who is this man? Is he a prophet like Jesus? And my bro told me about him, told me about how much respect he has and how truthful this man was. And I thought, oh yeah. And I told him about Jesus. Well, who is Jesus? Is he real or what? And he said to me, no, Jesus is a prophet, and he's a mighty prophet, peace be upon him. And I thought, man, is he God? I said to him, and my friend said, no, there's only one God, and he's a creator. He has 99 tributes to his name. And I said, who is this? My friend said to me, it's Allah. Allah. And I was like, I've heard of Allah. I've seen it on Malcolm X. And when I was drinking away, he goes to me, he stood up and goes, say, La ilaha illallah Muhammadur Rasulullah. I said, what? And he said, so I went through it slowly with him. I said, what was that? And he goes, there's only one God, Allah, with your worship, and Muhammad is his messenger, and the last prophet. I said in English as well. And then he said to me, you're Muslim. And I thought, yeah, just like that, Muslim. What? And I was confused. I was like, nah, man, it can't be that easy. You got to do that whole water thing. What, is that it? And he goes, yep, you're Muslim. I thought, sweet. And and then he left. He left not long after that. We had a good talk, and I thought, far out. And my bros who were in there with me, who weren't Muslim, they looked at me and goes, bro, you're Muslim. And I was like, must be Muslim. And the next day, I went back over to my bro's home, and he invited us to come to the masjid, to the mosque, that night. And we went there. We met up with our bro at his home, and then we went to the masjid with another brother from Iraq, we got there, and I looked around, and I saw actually all these brothers, like Somalian brothers and that, and being all scrawny and skinny and that. I thought, oh, puny little dudes. And I looked at them, and they were committed to what they were doing. They were praying. And I just looked around, and pretty much I was convinced straight away by looking at them. And I thought, by looking at them, I just felt like, man, here are these foreigners and my land, because I'm Maori, we're tangata whenua, we're guardians of this land. I felt like, man, I'm obliged to do something here. And I felt like these foreigners are here, and they get given crap every day, people mocking them, but yet they're still proud to be Muslim. I'll stick up for these boys. They're here. I'm Maori. I'll stick up for them. And that's my first concept. I thought, yeah, I'll stick up for these boys. And I said to my bro, what do I have to do? And my bro, his English isn't that good, and he said to me, what? And I said, bro, what do I have to do? Pray? And he goes, you want to pray? And he showed me how to pray. And I thought I'd become Muslim. And I thought, now that means I must have become Muslim because I prayed. And so I thought, I must be Muslim. I went home with another friend of mine, and I told my friend who was a Muslim, I said, hey bro, I'm a Muslim, bro. And he goes, what's that? Because I prayed. And my friend said, nah, you're not a Muslim, bro. You got to say, La ilaha illallah Muhammadur Rasulullah. I said, again? He goes, yeah, you have to say it. I said it again, and I said it in English, and then he goes, now you're Muslim. And I thought, sweet, I must be Muslim now, the second time. And then I thought, yeah, I went home, and then the next morning I woke up, went to work, and after work I went back to the masjid, and I took the Qur'an that I was given on the first night I went there. I took that in my hand because I felt you must have to take the Qur'an like it was church, take the Bible to church. So I thought I'd take the Qur'an, rolled up in there at the mosque, and my friend was there, my Iraqi friend, who showed me how to pray. And I told him, bro, I hear you do a wash to keep clean before you do your prayer. You got to show me that. And my friend said, oh brother, first you've got to accept Islam as your faith. And I was like, man, I already done that 2 times. And he goes, oh, well, it was alhamdulillah. He said, alhamdulillah. I was like, looked at him and I said, hey. And he goes, come with me. And he took me in. It was Asr prayer. Took me in. And then in front of everybody, I did my shahada in front of everybody. And then after that, then they said, you're a Muslim. And that was the 3rd time. And I thought, man, you do it 3 times, you must have done it 3 times. Alhamdulillah. And I went home, but in those 3 days that happened to me, I never told my wife that I become Muslim. I actually never told her for 2 weeks. I was a bit ashamed because I come from a Christian background. I didn't want none of my bros to know, my family to know. I didn't want a lot of people to know because they all know me in the neighbourhood, who I am, and I didn't want to get given any crap. And I felt real proud of what happened, but also I felt like I couldn't tell nobody. Only the one I could tell was my bro who told me about Islam first, and my 2 other mates who was part of my crew. 2 days after I did my shahada, I was at home and I prayed in my room, and I remember the night before I went to, I prayed and I did the prayer. I didn't know the prayer, all I knew was Bismillah. So I did Bismillah, went down, went up and then went down, and as I went down, that was when I made a full commitment and I said, Allah, if you're real, if there's something out there, and man, you need to show me something amazing, because you know, religion is religion to me, but if I don't know the truth, if I can't feel nothing, I probably won't continue on. So I just said, Allah, if you're real, if you're true, you show me something. I'll put you first in my life, before my wife, before my mum, before my dad, before all my family, before my son, you're first. And I meant it. I went down, put my head to the ground, got back up, went down again, got back up, and then I just went to bed. It wasn't until the next morning when I woke up in the morning and I opened my eyes, I was like, and I was shocked because my vision was different, my feeling was different. I jumped out of bed and I felt like I was floating. I was like, what the heck? And my hearing was different, my thinking was different, everything was different. I swear to Allah, the whole thing was different. And I guarantee you, if I never felt nothing like that, I probably wouldn't be here, because for me, I got to feel something amazing. And I felt something amazing, and I ran outside. And I remember when I went outside, I looked, and the morning was different, the sky, everything was different. I could hear birds, I could see different, everything was different. And I was just hyped up, and I looked up in the sky, and I was like, yeah, yeah. And I was like, man. And I was like, is this true, is this true? And this buzz happened for 3 days, and my smile was for 3 days. You can go to anyone and any person I work with at my work, and even my boss, they all looked at me. When I turned up, I had a smile. For 3 days, my smile was there, and I was different. And they wondered what happened. Everyone was going, what's up with Tyrone? What's up with Tyrone? And I was just happy, and I was just like, yeah. I went up to my bro at work who was a Muslim, and I looked at him, and I was like, because the way I felt was so real and true. I thought every Muslim must feel this. And I looked at him and I was like, yeah, Salaam alaikum. Bro. And I was looking at him going like this. And I was thinking that this is what they all feel. All Muslims feel this. I went to the masjid and I seen the brothers there, Brother Zaid and Brother Hisham, the first brothers I saw there. And I looked at them and I was like, yeah, Salaam alaikum, brother. Yeah, we got to get people on this bus, people on this train. And they were looking at me like, what? Bro, it's time to bring the people on the train. Get them on this train, take them, man. We got to show them Islam. And I was just hyped up because I actually didn't know. Everyone I looked at who was Muslim, I was just going, yeah, Assalamu alaikum, brother. Yeah, we know the truth. And I was looking at everyone going like this, we know. People were looking at me like, hey, what's up with this dude? But the fact that this was a feeling that I felt. I thought that every Muslim has this feeling that I have. And I come to realise now that it's not, they don't have this feeling that I had. They might have got it, but I actually thought they felt this all the time. For 2 weeks, I couldn't tell my wife, or my partner, my girlfriend at the time of 11 years, I couldn't tell her about Islam. And then brothers come here from Saudi Arabia. After 2 weeks I give my shahada, and they were here giving dawah for non-Muslims, and they asked me to spend 3 days with them. I thought, I got to do this. This must be a sign from God. I got to do this. And I went to go see my wife, and I told her about it. I got to spend 3 days with these wise men who come here from Saudi Arabia. And my wife said, "What? What are you on about?" And I said, "Oh, babe, all I need to do is spend 3 days with them, and then I'll come back." And my wife said, "No, you're not going nowhere. You've been brainwashed. Don't you know what they're doing to you? Those Muslims are brainwashing you. Man, this ain't right." And I thought, what? And I was broken because I was so sad because the truth is so real. And I thought, oh no. I was telling my wife for 2 weeks as well that I'll never lie to you, I'll never hurt you, I'll never do nothing bad to you. I'll always tell you the truth, I'll never lie to you, I respect you. And I told her that like 10 times a day for 2 weeks. I told her that every day. And she was freaking out because I was beginning to be real kind to her, and she was wondering what's going on. Her whole family were wondering what happened to me, and I've been brainwashed because I'm too kind to them. And my wife, my partner, my girlfriend, said to me, I don't want to know anything about your religion." And I was gutted as I actually was nearly about to cry. I left to work with her, went home, and then I was just thinking about Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala all the way home. And in my heart I was just asking Allah, please Allah, make her Muslim. Just do it, just one thing, make her Muslim so she knows, let her feel the truth. I got home and I got out of the car and I wanted to do some housework to show my wife, that I'll do some good things for her. My wife said, "You've been brainwashed," when we walked through the door, and I said to her, No, I've really got to go. I need to do this. I need to go spend 3 days with them. My wife said, "I don't want you to become Muslim. I don't want you to go back there." And I broke down and cried because the truth is real, Allah is real, and Islam is the only way, the truth. I was willing to leave her, and I said to her that I'm willing to give you everything, the house, all the money in the bank. You have everything. Everything is yours. All my super and all what I work for the next few months, you can have all my pay. I'll just walk out of here with my clothes, my Qur'an that I got given, and that's me, gone. I won't hurt you again. And she was like, looked at me and thought, what? That's weird. What are you on about, man? What are you on about, love? And I was like, no, because I was willing to give up everything for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, including my partner, and I about to let them be. And I didn't want to hurt her no more because she was hurt that she thought that I brainwashed her. I thought I'd let her be, and I'll just walk out of here with the clothes I got on. I went to the bathroom, did wudu, and I cried, and I was crying. And I looked at myself in the mirror, and I just thought, Allah, thank you for showing me the truth. I'm sad that my partner doesn't know. But I love you, Allah, and you're the only way, and I'll follow you to the day I die. Inshallah. Thank you, Allah. I love you. And I was talking to myself in the mirror, but I was meaning it to Allah. I jumped in my car and I went straight to the mosque. But as I went straight there, I pulled over to the left of my road, and I just, I did like consultation. I just prayed and said, "Please, Allah, show me the truth, show me the way. I need to know. I need to know if I'm not losing it. What's up? I'm confused. Should I go to the mosque or should I stay at home?" Something happened to me at that time, and I just jumped. I just put my foot on the pedal, went straight to the mosque, and I saw the brother from the emir, the leader, and I talked to him about it. But my wife doesn't want to know anything about Islam, and I broke down and cried. I went into the masjid and prayed. I did it hard, and I was sad and real. I meant it. That I prayed hard. Please, Allah, please answer my prayer. Please answer this prayer. Please help my wife. And I'll help my girlfriend at the time. The brother, after I did my prayer, the brother was waiting for me, and he came up to me and said, "I need to talk to your wife, your friend." And I said, oh bro, you can't talk to her. And he goes, why not? Bro, you come in my house, she'll stab you. And he goes, huh? And I said, bro, my wife doesn't like you people. She doesn't like Muslims. And bro, no. He said, is it her house? And I said to him, no, it's our house. And the brother said, is it your house? And I said, no, it's both of our house. We both pay mortgage. And he said to me, you both pay mortgage? Is it both your house? And I said, yeah, both of our house. And then he said, I go on your side of the house. And I thought, alhamdulillah, okay, fair enough. And we jumped in the car, went back to my home. I took a few brothers with me. My wife was in the lounge with my niece and nephew, my son, and her eyes rolled back in her head. She thought, oh no, what are you doing? And she went into the room. I brought the brothers in, and they sat in my room for about nearly an hour. And I thought, oh no, what a waste of time. My partner's not coming out. And then my partner came out. My friend called out to her, and she come out. And then she had a smile on her face, and she come near the table, and then the brother gave dawah to her. Within about 45 minutes, she received Islam, did her shahada. It wasn't the next morning she woke up, and the feeling that I got when I bowed down and put Allah first in my life, she woke up and she had the same feeling as well. And I was with her, looking at her, and I was like, Assalamu alaikum, darling. Alhamdulillah, everything was different for her. And then a day after that, we got married. We got married at the masjid. Alhamdulillah. My friends, the ones that I kick with every day, my crew. 2 of them out of 5 of them received Islam. The day before me, my bro accepted Islam. The day after I accepted Islam, my other bro accepted Islam. I didn't even know that if they're going to do it or not, and actually it didn't worry me if they did, because at that time I really only did it. I did it for myself. I didn't do it if my friends are going to do it. And my mum and dad, that's what I was hoping would be the last to know, because my mum and dad are Christians, and they brought me up with morals. I had a lot of hatred. I used to say things that I totally regret that I ever said, and I had pretty much no respect for my father. But the fact is, after I received Islam, the whole thing just flipped. And my dad, I love my dad heaps more than ever, and my mum, I don't know. Actually, this whole thing just flipped. The hate that I had for them just turned around, and I love them more than anything. My mum and dad. My mum and dad come down on the day me and my wife got married. Me and my partner got married, my wife, and we had a barbecue. I found out my dad already knew, and through my wife, and I thought, oh no, prepare myself. My dad might grab me and might give me a knock or something. And I thought, oh no. And I just went up to my dad and said, Dad, I've got to tell you something you already know, but I'll tell you the truth, you and Mum. If you can sit down, I'll tell you. And my dad got up and he was like, yep. And my mum sat down and I said, I won't lie to you. For the last few years, I've actually been an alcoholic, a drug dealer. I used to smoke drugs. You never knew about it. I always lied to them, told them I never did nothing like this. So I had to tell them that this was me for the last few years, and I had an anger problem, and I told them I was a Muslim. And my dad just put his head down and was like, and my mum was real shocked, and I said, I won't lie to you, something amazing happened to me. My mum started to cry, and my dad, I thought he was going to get real wild and might grab me and said, what are you thinking? But my dad just come up to me and looked at me and said, son, and he gave me a hug. And I said, I'm glad that you found your purpose in life, and I'm glad that you found God. And I know now that I never found God, God found me. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has found me. my everyday life was wake up, get stoned, have probably about 50 spots in the morning, smoke a lot of marijuana, then I'll go to work, come home, sell drugs, sell tinnies, make a bit of money, then get alcohol, get drunk, go to my bro's home, we either do more drugs or we get drunk more and do music. That was my day before I was Muslim, before I knew about anything about Islam. And how it's changed right now, I honestly, when I felt the blessing of Allah, the night after I bowed down and put Allah first in my life, that morning when I woke up, I forgot to mention that I woke up and I was alcoholic, gone. Drugs were gone. I know in my heart that it was gone out of my life, and I thought, what? I went and grabbed my bottle of tequila that I had. I had a real dear bottle, big bottle, 1125 Jose drink, and just tipped that out down the drain in my sink. I grabbed my tin of marijuana, just tipped that out in the rubbish and spat on it because I knew the truth was real. I just thought, man, I got to give up everything because I wanted to. Everything totally changed, and a lot of it, I just felt like the truth, it made sense to me. Everything's logical. I know that wherever I go now, that as a Kiwi Muslim, they ask me questions about what's going on in Iraq, and they ask me questions about every Muslim event. Why did they do 9/11? And they always throw questions at me, and sometimes they throw these questions at me, and I try and respond and say, hey, before I was Muslim, I was Maori, and Maori we don't take crap, and I don't want to take this crap from them, but I know that sometimes you got to enjoy that, and I noticed that as they find everyone who are not Muslim that I've come across who are non-Muslim, they think, why are you choosing a foreign religion? I've heard this a few times. They all ask me, why have you picked a religion that's not from here? And I always tell them what I've learned, that Muhammad, peace be upon him, he come here for all mankind, not just one race. He come here for all mankind. And I know that a lot of people, sometimes they come up to me and they see me in my long robe and my hat on, and some of them say, go back home. And I look at them and I'm like, what? I'm talking to whenua, Māori, what are you on about it? And then they're like, oh, and they walk off. I just feel like this concept Māori, what we know about what stories have been told in our culture and Islam, the similarities are right on. And to me, I felt like I've just been brought back to the homeland, brought back to the original, the truth, that what our people are searching for. And I believe that Islam is the way, not only for all Māoris, but for everyone.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen.